All right, guys, welcome to Claude Code for GTM. Really excited to have you all here today. My name's Tom Grainger. If you don't know, I am the CEO and co-founder at Advanced Client. And today I'm joined by my beautiful co-host and my co-founder, Louis Young.
How's it going, guys? Pleasure to be here.
So if anyone doesn't know, Louis runs the operations at Advanced Client. So if you're a client, you should be very familiar with him because he's probably bothering you on Slack all day and you're bothering him on Slack as well. And if you're a prospect, then get to know him because this is the man that runs our projects, that runs our operations, that is deep in every single thing that we're doing. And today he's got a very special treat planned. Now, normally I run these webinars with other companies where we'll talk about how they do things, X, Y, and Z. But today I thought, why not just tap into the internal talent that we have? Let's look at what we do internally and let's run through exactly how you can use Claude Code for GTM. So what we have planned out today is essentially us building out a campaign for our own company from start to finish. We're going to cover exactly how to, utilize Claude, how to set up the various connections that you need, what you should be saying to it, the thought process behind it. This is going to be very comprehensive that we're going to run through here today. And we're going to show you the entire journey as we do it. So Louis will be sharing the screen. He'll be walking you through the various prompts that he's using, and he'll be showing you how we're going to iterate on that as well. So make sure you've got a pen and paper out. Make sure you're taking notes, and then you can always go back and forth in the video as well. So Louis, should we dive in?
Let's do it. I'm excited to get started here.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll dive in. Awesome. So the way I wanted to run this was showing you how you can use various different tools that we'd use internally to run these outbound campaigns, but through Claude itself, because a bunch of the founders that Tom speaks to, I speak to on LinkedIn, don't have time to be clicking on all these tools, figuring out how to sync everything up and set these campaigns up, because it can take 1 to 2 weeks to get these going. And Claude has allowed us to speed up that process and essentially shout at Claude and tell it what to do to get it to the final outcome, which is a running campaign. Now, in this particular run through, we're going to run a kind of demo on using our ICP at Advanced Client, the people we talk to day to day. We're going to build the list, so map the TAM. We're going to find the sales leaders. I'm going to show you how to set everything up, like Tom just explained, and then end up with an instantly campaign live and have leads pushed into our CRM ready for our reps to outreach to. So to get kicked off, there's going to be a few different things you want to start with, right? So coming into Claude, you won't have any of the tools we're using today connected up. Now, we want to go ahead and connect those up. So the 3 main tools we're using today are Clay, which is going to be everything around mapping the TAM, finding and sourcing leads, enriching that data. And then we have Prospio, which is our main data tool, if you will. It's finding emails, it's validating those emails, meaning that we have the contacts to reach out to people at the companies we want to be speaking to. We've got their valid contact information. And then the third and final piece is going to be our Instantly, which is an email sending provider. We use that to run our outbound campaigns. And then the fourth would kind of be your CRM. So Attio is our CRM of choice, but HubSpot and Salesforce work great as well. You can just sub these in because they both have connections into Claude. So to set this up, we're going to need to do a few things. If I just share my screen for you guys here, it might cut out every now and then, but hey, that's the world of tech. So if that happens, Tom will let me know.
Sharing, then we can dive back in. So just to sort of recap, we're going to build an account list. We're going to build a people list based on that account list. We're going to enrich it with emails, and then we're going to send that instantly to run outbound email campaigns.
Yeah, exactly that. So the first step is we've got to make sure we have a Clay account, of course, assuming you guys have these all set up. What we're going to do is you're going to type into Google and search for Clay's CLI GitHub repo, and the URL should look something like this. So if I paste it in here, bear with me, let me get the link.
And what we'll do is we'll include all these links in the description as well.
Yes, exactly. So you don't have to go and search for it, but this is what the link looks like here. So what you want to do to get Claude and Clay synced up via CLI is just send the link and say to Claude, hey, please set up the Clay CLI collection and make sure you let me know once it's set up correctly. So if we paste this in, I've already done this, so bear with me. My whisper flow, which is what I talk to Claude with, is playing up. Let me just ask that again quickly. Hey, Claude, please set up this GitHub repo with Clay. There we go. So you can see that's pasted in.
Love it.
Whisperflow is a really cool tool, by the way. You can talk to Claude using your voice rather than having to type all the time, which would be super annoying on this webinar. So I'm just going to talk to it through Whisperflow. So there might be some technical errors there whenever I try and do that, but it's going to go ahead and check the repo, and hopefully it says to us that it's already connected, because it is.
Mm-hmm. And if it isn't connected, then it should just automatically download the required stuff and set up the connection for you.
Yeah, and it will make you sign into your Clay account, so it knows the right Clay account.
Okay, so now we're allowing Claude to utilize Clay. So instead of us going into Clay directly and building lists manually, we're going to speak to Claude, and Claude is going to do that work for us.
For sure. And before we go ahead and build out the TAM list, so that the contacts we're going to be finding and the accounts we're finding, we're going to build our offer skill. So we're going to make it Claude skill, which is our offer. So what we're selling, who we're selling it to, all that good stuff. And we're also going to make one for writing the cold emails, because if it doesn't have context on how to write a good email, it's not going to be able to write a good one, right?
Okay. So what's the best way then for us to build out this offer doc? Let's say that there's a company watching this right now and they're thinking, I want to build out my offer. Okay. What's going to be the process for that?
Yeah. So building out an offer doc, essentially, again, you can talk to Claude here. What we'd like to do is just upload our website, because if your website's up to date and you've got good information on the website, it should be able to take that copy, scrape the website, and turn it into an offer. Because again, if you're putting it on your website, that's how you portray yourself to the world. Again, you can edit it when it comes back and says, this is what we've got from your offer. There might be things you want to add, like information that's not on your website. But again, you can go ahead and do that with Claude. It's super easy too.
Okay, cool. Well, let's pause a second while we wait for this to cook, and then we'll come back.
Yeah. So we've already got Claude set up here. Clay and Claude are already set up. So again, it's not, this won't show up for you. It will give you instructions on installing this CLI. It will say, this has been set up, and it will easily walk you through. But since we got this set up, we're just going to dive straight in here and get into the offer document. So what I'm going to do here now is tell Claude to go ahead and scrape our website and give it a bit of context on creating and mapping out our offer so it knows what we do. So I'm going to go ahead and speak to Claude here. Hey, Claude, please visit advancedclient.io and scrape our entire website to get a understanding of our offer and what we offer to our ICP. So who we sell to, what we do, and exactly the services we sell, please. So we're going to go ahead and paste this in and see what Claude gives us. Now, this is super important to understand, because if you don't have context on who you are, what you're selling, one, it's not going to know why you're reaching out to these people and scraping these accounts from Clay. And then two, it's not going to know how to write the copy, which is the most important part here.
I was just going to ask you, why is this an important first step? Why should we look at this first? Well, it's the foundation of everything that we build. It designs the lists that we build, the people that we go after, the campaigns that we run, the replies that we have, and the iterations that we make after it as well. So incredibly important first step. Once we've gone through the sort of boring stuff, like getting the tools connected, now we can dive into the sort of real go-to-market strategy, which is starting here and building out that foundation right here.
Yeah, for sure. This might take a little bit of time, just because it's scraping 81 URLs there from our site. We've got quite a few pages. So we'll just pause it and we'll come back once this is done.
Claude's now been cooking for, it was like 5 or 6 minutes there.
Yeah.
And it scraped all of our website, scraped all of the pages on our website, and it's pulled together what it knows about our offer. So let's have a look. Who do you sell to? Well, we've got B2B SaaS at 1 million plus ARR, 10K plus ACV with product market fit and a sales team. That's bang on. I think,
what we do is pretty good.
Yeah. it's exactly, exactly what we do. What do we actually sell? The AI RevOps system. Yeah, the LinkedIn ads, ABM. This is bang on the stack that we have publicly there as well. It's named them all perfectly. So this is great. I think what we have here is a really strong base. So Louis, what's the next step?
Yeah, so it suggests things that we'd fix. Again, we've not given Claude any context here, so it's assuming we're talking about our website and things we want to update on our website. So we're going to tell it, no, we want you to make a offer skill. So take all this information, package it up, and turn it into a skill that you can use again and again inside of Claude. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ask it to do that.
Cool.
Claude, please turn our offer and everything that you've learned from our website into a Claude skill that you can use again and again when we're creating outbound campaigns. So use this skill as a knowledge base for what advanced clients do, who they work with, who they're selling to, and exactly what their offer is. Cool. Let's go ahead and paste that in, see what it cooks up. So this should build a skill, which again is called upon across your entire Claude accounts. It can be used in chat, co-work, and Claude. And it essentially acts as like a knowledge piece, right? So everything that you do, it knows and keeps and runs across your entire Claude. So it's super useful to do this anyway, even if you weren't doing this.
Mm-hmm. And what's great about it as well is that it's iterative. So we can add to it, we can update it as data comes in, we can feed back to it. So it's like a living knowledge database of everything that's going on in your company.
Yeah. And then again, here it's asking us questions. So it's going to run a few here. So how opinionated should this skill be? This is saying knowledge base plus campaign playbook. So facts about the offer. Pardon?
Number 2. I think number 2.
Yeah. Just to keep it simple.
This is a pure knowledge base.
Yeah. Cool. Your site states ICP is B2B SaaS at the 1 million range. Who should we be treating this? Who should the skill treat as the target? So, both, I'd say.
Yeah, let's go both.
Then pricing, we can kind of skip this. So we'll leave pricing out for now because the offer that we're using here is for the outbound campaigns. And in your outbound campaigns, you typically don't want to be spitting out the price, especially not if you're selling something that's high ACV. So we're just going to go ahead and leave this out from there. And then do you want us to test the skill before we call it done? No, we'll just get it to write the skill. We've done this before and Claude is pretty good at kind of cooking together these skills. And I'm happy with everything that it knows about our offer anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And it should get going on this for us.
Let's let it cook.
Cool. So we have the skill created. It did take quite a while. I think that's because we got quite a bit of information on our website.
For about 10 minutes there.
Yeah, it was about 10 minutes, wasn't it? So next step here is going to be actually pulling the list of the accounts and then the people we're going to be reaching out to at the account. So I think for this example, we're just going to dive in and go through scraping our offer and people that we would reach out to normally. So that would be B2B companies with 10 to 200 employees, software companies as well, which we'll particularly dive into today. And that would be the account ICP. And we'll do UK and United States because those are kind of the two main target areas that we talk to. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Claude to do that. And the way we're going to call on Clay is just say, hey, build this list in Clay. Just as you would say, we want this list built inside of Clay. Go ahead and do it. And it'll go ahead and do it, which is the cool thing. So anything you want to add there, Tom, or are you good for me to jump in?
Yeah. How many leads are we pulling?
I think we'll do maybe 100 for this test, just because if you're doing 1,000, 10,000, it's going to take a lot longer. And for the sake of speed, time, and everything, we'll just do it on the macro level.
Let's do it.
And then micro level, and then we can do it on the macro later on. So let me dive in here and do that.
Excellent.
Hey, Claude, please connect to Clay's CLI and pull us a list of accounts. So find new companies, and we want you to find B2B companies, software companies specifically, with between 10 and 200 employees, and make sure they're either in the United States or the UK, so United Kingdom. Please go ahead and do that. And we want 100 companies, please. Only 100 companies. So let's go ahead and send this in and let's get this cooking.
Let's see what it does.
For sure.
Claude ran there for about another 10 minutes. Interesting to look at here. So when we told it to go and use the CLI, it tried to straight away, realized that the CLI is out of date, and then the API wasn't working. And then it went and updated it for us. So pretty cool there. Even if you're not a super technical person, Claude is now taking a lot of that way. So then what it did is it went in, it looked at our ICP, it pulled the first list, it then had a look at the quality of that list. What it noticed straight away was that 8 of the companies were outside of the US and UK. It had sort of media publishers classified as software development, which is a real problem in filtering in sort of traditional leads databases like Apollo, Clay, things like that. Companies do get tagged as the wrong thing. So very interesting that it spotted that straight away. Now it's then done another geography check, made sure that it's clean. It's made sure to check what companies have been tagged as what, and then it's pulled them together. So it's pulled us together a list of 100 companies, sizes, between 11 and 50 and 51 to 200. So, 11 to 200 there. We've got US, UK list here. We've got 100% software development. And it's also done some funding data on this as well. So
pretty cool, yeah.
Pretty interesting here that we now know that 38 of them have a known raise and 62 of them we don't know right now. So very interesting that we've got a little bit of that data. So Louis, we've got this list now. What's the next step?
Yeah. So again, Claude's going to give you some information about like caveats that it might have, or information that you might want to look at. So look at it, but a lot of the time we find that some of that information is not. It's kind of being too cautious, if you will. It's going in there and thinking about all the different things that it's told to think about, but you can kind of ignore those things. So now that we have the list of 100 companies, the next real step here, again, we can check through them. What I would do if I was you is check through each of them, make sure that ICP fit, or scan over the list and spot check if you've got 1,000 or 10,000 companies. But because this is, again, showing you the process, not necessarily, we don't want to go in and just keep iterating. But from here, I would expect you guys to be looking at the list, seeing it needs changes, going back to Claude and saying, hey, actually, 10 of these are actually this kind of company or classed wrong. Or actually you got this wrong, and you can go back and forth with it, which is the really cool thing with Claude. But awesome. I think from the step here now, we should dive in and find the people that we want to reach out to at these companies, which in our case is going to be sales leaders. So your heads of sales, your CROs, your director of sales, VP of sales, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go and ask them. Anything to add there, Tom?
No, I think it'd be interesting as well once we've given our I said no, but I actually meant yes. Once we've given it our assumptions of who we think that it should target, it might be cool to ask it, like, if there's anyone else, any other job titles that we're missing there.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and ask that now. So we'll see what it gives us. Claude, so now that we have the 100 companies, which we want to go after, I'm happy with the list. I'm happy with the work you've done. The next step here is to find contacts at those exact companies. Now, the first pass, please, can you find sales leaders? So that would be heads of sales, director of sales, VP of sales, the CRO, so chief revenue officer, and director of sales, those kind of roles. So please find those for all 100 companies. It doesn't matter what location they're in. Just make sure that they are at those 100 companies that you scraped for us. Please go ahead and do that. Cool. So again, make sure your prompt's good. Sometimes Whisperflow can mess up. Happy with that. And I'm going to go ahead and run it.
Let's see what it does. Yeah. It's used the Clay CLI again, and it's pulled those people at those companies. What's cool is that it's using the LinkedIn URL. So all of those companies have obviously a LinkedIn URL, and then it goes in and it uses the information on LinkedIn to pull the relevant people at those companies. So we can see here that it's built out 58 contacts here, which is cool. I think it did a little bit of iteration there as well. So it found less, and then it went back and it found more. So we can see here that we have 58 contacts. They're all verified current employees at those 100 companies that we're looking at. And what's cool here as well is it has already done a little bit of filtration and qualification for us. So we've got the core tier. We've got 41 leads that match that core tier. So this is head of sales, director of sales, VP of sales, senior decision makers at those companies. And then we've got adjacent roles. So things like regional sales managers. These might be like champions of the role. So they may be people that are more foot on the sort of boots on the ground, sort of people that are actually actioning the things that we're building. So that's really cool. What that also allows us to do as well is tier them. So it's tiered these leads, which then can dictate how we reach out to them. We want to be hitting up the core leads, directly with a bit of more of an ABM approach. The adjacent leads, we can hit them with more of an automated approach. So it's a really nice way of sort of building out that go-to-market procedure.
Yeah.
So Louis, we've got these people at the companies now. What do we do next?
Next step is going to be pretty straightforward and probably what you guys are already guessing, which is we need to have the contact information for these people. So like I mentioned at the start, we're going to use Prospio to go ahead and find the emails for these contacts and then verify the information. What I'll do at the end of the webinar is show you how you can connect up Prospio. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find those emails using Prospio. One thing to just add on these is you might be asking, like, why is it only found 58? Well, finding senior sales leaders at companies with that small of a employee count, 10 to 200, I would expect most of those sales leaders to be in the upper end of this band. So around the 100 plus mark, because a lot of companies with 10 employees aren't going to have that person. The person currently filling that role would be the founder, the CEO, the director. So what we could do if we were going to, expand on this is go, hey, because I noticed there's only 58, can we expand and find another tier, which is, direct decision makers that 100% are involved, but only at those smaller companies, because it's
so we can add nuance to it. So like, maybe 10 to 50, we do, the founder is typically involved in sales still. So that's a great point.
Yeah, that's something that we could run as well, because why not? That's just an observation I made. But if we dive right in here to finding those emails, I'm just going to ask it to connect to Prospio. We've got this connected up via MCP. So we should be able to just go and pull this list. So it's given us the next step. The obvious second pass is founders and CEOs. So there you go, Tom. It's already
done it for us.
I didn't actually read that. Yeah, so it's one, and only for the 11 to 50. That's where the real buyer is anyway.
It's literally just what we said. That's incredible. So it's already, we didn't read that before saying what we just said. No. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And then look, next step here, want me to run that, or do you want to go straight to enriching these, right? So I'm going to go and say, great, thank you, Claude. That's great. Can we go ahead and go straight to enriching via verified emails? But don't do it in Clay. Please connect to Prospio's MCP, so the connection you have directly with Prospio, and find valid work emails for those contacts, please. And the reason we're not doing it in Clay is just we've got this connection set up with Prospio directly, and it saves, a bit of back and forth here. It's kind of a quicker way to do that. And we've got our Prospio account set up, so we might as well go and use that.
But if you wanted to, you can do this in Clay as well. It's just for the purpose of this demonstration.
And the cool thing with Clay is it has the waterfall feature, right? So you can stack up those providers, Prospio, Find Email, ICPs, all of those good stuff, to kind of run through them in a waterfall process. So it doesn't find it at this provider. It's going to go to the next one. And this gives you the ultimate coverage across the industry. It's found the MCP here, which is great. And it's going to go ahead and find those emails. So we'll come back to you once we found them. So it's gone ahead and run the Prospio MCP, which is nice. We've it's connected up to our account. As you can see, it's running them in batches, which is cool. It's matching them up and tells us the credit usage as well. So we can see that in real time. It's told us that 23 of the 58 contacts had verified work emails. So a larger proportion of those would have had emails. Then it's gone ahead and verified with bounce ban to find the only ICP fit, right? The only verified emails, which is what we want. Because if you're sending to an unverified email, there's a high chance that email is going to bounce when you're sending to them. And bounces are the number one cause of deliverability issues in cold email. So anything over 2%, I'd even say 2%, you're a bit too far. of a bounce rate. So that's the amount of emails you've sent that have bounced, so haven't connected to the person's email and that they haven't been sent, is a problem, and that's going to damage your domain. So we want to verify 100% of all the leads we ever send to, and I can't stress that enough. I've seen so many campaigns not work just because of bounces and unverified emails.
Data is so important.
Yeah, it's key. So it's covered 17 companies here. Again, if you wanted more coverage, you wanted to increase the amount of emails you have there, I'd recommend running a waterfall in Clay. But again, that takes a little bit more time. And for the sake of speed in this demonstration, we're just going to rock and roll with the 23 that we have here. And again, it's asking me a few different things. It's saying, again, why they didn't match. So it's telling us why these didn't match. Mm-hmm. So several had LinkedIn truant surnames, which again is just a reason it's identified why they haven't matched up. But the next step for us here is to start to think about copy. So we've got the leads. To just reiterate, we've got the leads, so accounts, we've got the people and the contacts at the companies, and then we found valid information to reach out to them at.
Super.
The next step here is to dive into writing the copy. Now, what we've got already loaded up is a cold email copywriting skill that we made, or was it somebody else's, Tom?
Here's one we made earlier.
Yeah, okay, it was one we made earlier. So what we're going to do here is call on that skill, and we'll put a link to that skill in this webinar as well, so people can use that, right, Tom?
Yeah, exactly. And and again, when you take this skill, you don't have to take it just as is. This is iterative. You can update it to your preferences, to how you like it, to your offer, to your data. That's the beautiful thing here. We're starting off with a baseline, and then you can adjust it based on that baseline, based on the data and feedback that you get.
Yeah, so we've come to kind of like inflection point where we now have that offer doc we made, the offer skill. We have the email skill, and we also have the leads. So what I'm actually going to ask Clay to do now is to take all three of those things. Sorry, Claude, take all three of those things and put together a two-step email sequence for each of the leads. So that's using the company name variable, first name, filling those in. So each email is unique to the person. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that now.
So we can truly make personalized emails. I think that's always been a constraint that, we've been doing cold email for like 4-5 years now. When we first started out, we had to pay for a virtual assistant to go in and write personalized first lines.
One by one,
and then there was basic personalization. Now we can write fully personalized emails. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I remember the personalized lines would be, I saw you went to Harvard
or something.
Like that is not personalized. Well, it is personalization, but it's not relevant. And
it worked for like 2 months back in the day. People were impressed by it, and then
say that again.
It worked for about 2 months. I think people were impressed by it, and then the method just got rinsed, and then people got instantly sick of it.
It's funny how the space evolved, and now we're here talking to Claude about how to set up a cold email campaign and run it for us, which is truly insane. I would have not expected this to be where we're at, but again, we're using and leveraging this tech, which is allowing founders to go ahead and spin up these campaigns, while chatting. You and me are just chatting here, and we're setting up a campaign, which is super cool. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it. So, Claude, please call upon the offer skill that we created at the start of this chat. Also call upon the cold email skill that you already have, and then use the leads. So the account list that we have, the prospects as well, and then only for the verified email leads, we want to create a two-step cold email campaign. The first one being around a pain point, so pain point focused email, and the second one being more of a follow-up. But make sure you rely heavily on the cold email skill, as this has everything about how to write a good cold email. But we also want to make the emails relevant. So using the information that you have on the company and the lead to make the email relevant, short, and about our offer. So go ahead and do that now for us, please.
Awesome.
Just have a look through this prompt. Nice. Let's go ahead and send that.
Let's let it cook. Okay, so Claude's given us the first pass of the cold emails using one of the skills that we have, plus the offer doc. So reading through initially here, what I'm noticing is that, the emails are pretty good. We've got a decent subject line. It's been Spintaxed. We've got a Spintaxed opening as well, and a sign off, which is good. One thing that I'm not too keen on is the format of the email is a little bit too AI. So that's something that I think we can feed it back. So things like, we rebuilt that layer for data flow, full stop, meeting volume tripled, comma, same headcount. That's such an AI indicator. So I think what we can do is go back to it and say, yes, we want the emails to be short and snappy, but we want to use natural human language and human sentences so that it reads more naturally and doesn't trigger people's AI responders there straight away. But overall, these are not bad emails. I think they use our offer quite well. They use our case studies well. And they have soft call to actions there as well, which is a good start. So that's definitely something that we could look at. If we scroll down, Louis, let's take a look. The follow-ups here, they're fine. And again, this is an iterative process, so we can test, see what the results come back, feed that data back into this, and then update the copy based upon that. This is a first pass here. Let's look at that personalization.
Yep.
Okay, so what it's done is it's looked at the actual company and built out personalization around that. I think maybe this is something that we could change here. But again, this is a first pass. I don't know if I'm too happy with that personalization.
Me neither.
Maybe what would you do typically in this situation?
So, I mean, we've run this very simply in terms of we haven't given it much information around the personalization side of things. We've just kind of said, go ahead and personalize this, right? So it's got no structure on how to personalize this. What I would do is, because every company is different, what is personal and relevant is very different to your company versus ours. For example, what I would do is go back to the account list and go, hey, Claude, look at this account list, and I want you to scrape all the open roles they have. I also want you to look at their headcount growth. I also want you to check if they have SDRs or outbound professionals on their team. Now that gives us data points on the company that is actually relevant towards what we sell, right? Because if they have outbound reps, we know that they're running outbound. If they're hiring outbound reps, we know they're thinking about starting it up. And if they have, headcount growth recently, it means they have money to spend. So those are, relevant things for us and ins for us. So we want to find as many of those as possible on the account list, get Claude to run that and find those, then come back in context and say, hey, look, I'm not too happy with these. We kind of want to structure it around, if they've got outbound reps, we want you to run this kind of line to say, hey, so we've got outbound reps. Given your title, it might be a good chance. It might be a good point for us to talk, whatever the personalization line is. But it's based around the key point that we've identified for that account, if you will. Yeah. So that's what I tell Claude, go back, find those key points, then rewrite the personalization around that. And again, like Tom said, when you keep talking to Claude, it understands and goes, okay, I can see what you need. Then it will give you key points and it will give you information. But again, what I would do here, like Tom said, is these are a good start, mainly around the offer. So it's understood our offer well, which is very, very nice. And it's interpreted our case study as well. Yeah. What we want it to do now is to make this seem like someone wrote it, because right now, like Tom said, it seems quite AI. Work on those, go back and forth a few times, and then we'll end up at a point where we have, first email we're happy with, really nice follow-up as well, and the personalization lines that go in email one are super solid. And then what we would do is we'd run through those personalization lines inside of the CSV, check they're good, check we're happy with them, and then we would upload them into Instantly. Tom, do you want to go through and do we want to edit these now, or do you think we should just get rocking with these, push them into a campaign just to show the process?
I think we should get rocking.
Cool. So I think the best next step here is I am going to ask it to Spintax this section because you can see it's done it for the CTA, which is cool.
Yep.
It's done it for the first line as well, which is nice. It's doing Spintaxing hi and hey, and just how Spintax actually works. It's cycling through these variations. So it's randomly going to do hey or hi an infinite number of times. The same goes for this line. It's randomly going to pick this sentence versus this sentence. And what that does, creates an infinite number. The more Spintax lines you have, it creates an infinite number of email variations that you can have. And what this does is means every email you send, hopefully, is slightly unique. So then the email sending provider like Google and Microsoft are seeing your emails come in and they're going, okay, these are unique. This is imitating a human pattern, which again keeps you out of spam. So these are super important things to be doing.
Yeah.
So let me just go ahead and say, I'm happy with these emails, which we're not at the moment. And we would go back. I'm just reiterating, we would go back and edit these and work with Claude to make these how we want them.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to tell it to Spintax these so we can upload them into Instantly.
Love it.
Hey, Claude, I like the emails for now. I can see that you've Spintaxed variant A and B and variant A and B on the follow-up. But what I want you to do is Spintax the 2 middle sentences that you haven't done so far. I can see that you've done the first name part. I can see that you've done the CTA as well on all of the emails, but you haven't Spintaxed the 2 sentences in the middle. Please Spintax those as well. So we have 2 emails ready to go and upload into Instantly, please. Cool. So let's go ahead and just didn't work there. Let me paste that.
Let's let it cook.
Let's see. So we've got the sentences, the email copy, Spintax. So we've got the middle sentences, Spintax. Now, as you can see, it's created slightly different lines. So it's going to make those custom emails, right? We've got the subject lines as well. Now, the next step is to get Instantly set up. So the campaigns that we want to get live are going to be in Instantly. And the way we do that is asking Claude to set up a campaign, add the copy into the campaign, and then upload the leads into the campaign.
Brilliant.
Which is cool. And then we'll go into Instantly and actually show you how that looks in there. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Claude to do this now. So this is going to be a bit of a bigger task, but let me get cooking here with this. Bear with me. Why is that not working?
Technical issues.
Yep.
You could just use the mic feature on Claude Code there, just below the...
There we go. So, Claude, we are at a point where we want to get Instantly campaigns set up. So please connect to the Instantly MCP server we have connected. The first step I want you to do is to create a new campaign, call it AC Claude Webinar Campaign as a test. And then the next step is going to be to upload the copy, right? So we want to upload the copy to the campaigns and having email 1 being the first email, and then email 2 being second in the sequence, and set the gap to 3 days. So we want email 2 to go out 3 days afterwards. Now, the next step there is going to be to upload the leads. So make sure the leads are uploaded and have the necessary variables, like the personalization variable that you created. Make sure that's in there so that the information correctly gets passed into the email. And then once those are uploaded, so once you've uploaded the copy and you've uploaded the leads, please let me know.
All right. So now we're building out the actual campaign here. Let's let it cook.
I'm excited to see what it spits out, and we'll hop over into Instantly after this and we can show you.
Awesome.
We've done everything that I just walked through. So we've got it didn't have an MCP. Interestingly, I forgot that it was the CLI we've got connected up. So again, Instantly CLI. I'll drop the link to the GitHub repo so you can, again, like we did with Clay's, you just bang it into Claude, walk through the native setup process, which is sweet. It's authenticated our advanced client workspace, which is cool. 2 important findings. The personalization was the American spelling. So again, it's going through and making sure and fixing things in real time, which is cool. Creates the campaign, sequence is saved correctly. It's uploaded 19 of the 23 contacts. Cool. Again, 4 were skipped because it's identified that we've already got 4 of those people in our campaigns already, which is nice. So we're not double sending emails. Personalization variable that we had on the lead list has merged correctly into the campaigns, which we'll go and double check in a moment. And then the next part here is we've got sequence 1 and 2 loaded up as well. Settings, it's not done any of the settings at the moment. Well, actually it has open tracking off, stop on reply, which is cool. 25 emails per day per account, 50-minute gap. These are the right settings actually. So, it's got good knowledge on that. And I'm assuming it's understood that from the CLI that it's got with Instantly, which has a bunch of information on how to use it. Let me just look through here quickly. So I think pretty much we're ready to go in terms of the campaign. What I would say is we haven't assigned any accounts like it says here. So we've not got any of our accounts assigned. It says we have 10 available here, which isn't the case. We've got a bunch more in there. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to it and ask it to assign, some of our accounts which are labeled. So let me go and talk to it. Hey, Claude, we have accounts inside of Instantly under the airmail tag. So that's a tag of accounts that we have inside of Instantly. Please assign those to this campaign. And yeah, once that's done, please let me know.
Cool. And then we'll dive into Instantly and take a look at what it's done.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a look at Instantly. I'll show you how everything's passed over, which is super cool.
Awesome.
And then from there, the final step is we can go ahead and get live. And also, we'll quickly just show you how we can upload these leads into Attio, which is our CRM. And then you can do the same process for HubSpot and Salesforce.
Brilliant.
And the last two things, I'll just show you how Prospio connects up via MCP inside of connectors, which is super easy.
Excellent. Let's see. Cool. So it's found the tag of our domains in Instantly. So the various infrastructures that we want to use, it's now assigned it to that specific campaign, which is awesome. So just as a very quick recap, we've essentially built this campaign completely from scratch, all the way to the point now where we have the campaigns and the cadences loaded up, ready to go. So Louis, do you want to jump into Instantly and show us what this would look like before we launch?
Yeah, super excited to do so. Let me just reshare my screen on the right page. Here we go. This is Instantly. Bunch of campaigns we've run before. What you want to look at is the AC Clay webinar campaign, which is what I asked it to create. So really cool. This has been set up by Claude itself. It's done it all for me. I haven't come in here and added a new campaign and done this myself. This has been done with Claude. So if we open up the campaign to have a little look inside, see it's not run yet. If we have a look at the leads tab, you can see it's loaded in all the leads, which is really cool. And if we open these up, you can see we've got a company name, which it's assigned. It's got the personalization line, which it's got for all of the leads, which is super cool. It's even got the tier as well. So we can see if they're the core tier or the other tier, which was the buyers, the influencers in the deal that we talked about at the very start. You can see the title as well, and then the send priority. It's added the accounts, the leads, which is super cool. If we come across the sequences, you can see we've got step 1 and step 2, like we said, with the 3-day gap between each email, which is super sweet. It's also assigned the subject line here, which is super cool, with the Spintax assigned. We've got the first line here, like the emails were laid out inside of Claude, and we've got the personalization line. And in a minute, I'll show you what that looks like. And then we've got the email too as well. The only thing here is we haven't added the subject line, which I'll go ahead and ask Claude to do in a second. The
subject line or the signature?
Yeah, the signature line, sorry. That was what I meant, the signature line. We'll make sure that's added. And then let me just show you exactly what this looks like. So if we preview, you can see that it's loaded up for this email. So you can see, hey, Stephen. Then it's got the personalization line, which changes as you change the lead. So if I see this lead here, it changes.
Love that.
Again, we would make these lines a lot better. I wouldn't be happy with them, again, like we talked about. But that's the process where you go through with the copy, make sure it's exactly what you want, and the personalization lines are exactly how you like them. Then you upload. But I'm just showing you now in real time how it can change for each lead.
And so we can see that all these emails are completely personalized. They're completely unique. We're not sending out a flat template that's going to get marked as spam.
Everyone,
This is it's really cool to see.
Yeah. The only thing I can see here is that this isn't formatted correctly. So you can see on the subject line, the company name is too close to this. So if you're coming into here and you want to do it in here, you can just click a space and save that. Again, if I come in here now, that's
now
fixed.
We can see that it's fixed. Yeah.
But again, if you wanted to completely do this in Claude, again, you can ask Claude to do that. It will do that for you and fix those. So again, we would add the signature here.
Has it also added in that infrastructure as well? Can we see that?
Yeah, let's have a little look. So if we go over to the schedule, you can see that we're on Eastern Time send zone because most of the leads are in the USA. If we go to options, you can see it's added all of the accounts, like it said, that are tagged with airmail, which is super cool. We've got stop sending on reply enabled, which is what we want. We don't want to be sending second email if they've already replied. Open tracking is disabled. Now we do this because if you have open tracking on, you're adding in a little bit of code into each email you send. which then can be picked up by the email sending providers. So it's best practice to not track open rates and only really track reply rates, is because that's kind of the industry standard for a good reply rate. Anything over 1%, and you're doing typically pretty well. I know it's got crazy with cold email. That's the upper reply rates. Anything below 1%, you have infrastructure problems, and things aren't mapping up. So maybe your emails are landing.
I think what we'll do, Louis, is maybe in the coming weeks we'll do like a full cold email masterclass on what's working in 2026. But this is awesome. So we've got everything ready now. The campaign's locked and loaded.
Yeah.
What's the next step? What are we doing next?
Yeah. So the next step is to upload these leads into Attio, because like we said at the start, we have this sending out emails, right? But we want these leads in our CRM so we can, one, see them and know that we're tracking them and sending emails to them. But two, you can have reps calling them, connecting with them on LinkedIn and doing all that good stuff. So if I head back over into Claude here, and we can get going with the CRM setup side of things.
So the campaign's ready to go on instantly.
Yeah. So all I have to do there is click set live and they'll start sending. It's always good to go into the campaigns and just check the settings. You know, Claude is good, but it can make mistakes. But as you see, the only mistake there was formatting with the company name being too close to the rest of the subject.
You always need a human in the loop. We need to be doing those final checks and just making sure we're not doing anything wrong.
Of course, yeah. Otherwise, again, AI will be doing everything for us and could just run the entire thing. So we want to keep ourselves in the loop there, so we're not completely useless. But yes, let's connect up to Attio. Now, if you're running HubSpot and Salesforce, it's the same process. They both have connections into Claude. So you just go through and connect up normally. But then I'm just going to call on Attio.
And better connections than Attio as well. So
yes, yeah, I know. This is the downside with Attio is you can't create a list from scratch, which is what the leads would be uploaded as into Attio. So I've created a test list inside of Attio, which if I just get the name for it, just before I go and ask it to call on it, we can go ahead and get these uploaded. Bear with me here. Cool. There we go. So Claude, thanks for the campaign. Looks good. We're happy with that. You don't need to do anything else on the campaign side. What I want you to do now is connect up to Attio. So that's our CRM. Check the connection is still live. Then what I want you to do is upload these leads into the list, new Claude Code list. I've already set up this list. Please upload the leads into that CRM list.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
So then essentially once those are in, we can then use Claude to then build out cadences, to build out structures, to connect it up with instantly.
Find phone numbers.
Everything. Yeah. What we've shown you here today is a very, very simple use case of launching a very, very simple campaign. The options here are huge. And when we work with our clients, they're often a lot more complex than what we're building out here. So, custom TAMs, custom bots, custom scrapers, running things on schedules, building out evergreen campaigns, specific cadence structures within CRMs. It's all possible, and we're building this all today for the clients that we work with. What we're showing you today is how it actually works, but on a very, very simple level. So, I mean, it's been really cool to see you run through this, Louis. Once this is uploaded, we'll show the leads on Attio, and then I think we can get this campaign rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we'll get it live. We'll get it firing, which is super cool. And we've done this in, me and Tom have been recording this for less than 2 hours. We have cut between some of the while Claude's running in the background to save you sitting here and watching it load for 10 minutes. But you can get this set up in a morning. You can get a campaign live in a morning. Which is really sweet.
And once you've done a lot of the groundwork, like connecting up the tools, your offer document, the cold email things, you can do this then a lot faster.
Yeah, and I mean, excellent. Exactly. Even today, we were kind of walking through that offer doc, so that was part of it as well. What I'm finding with AI is people are using it for some of the wrong reasons. I think people think that it can just handle everything from A to Z. So send the emails, make the calls, do everything. Where we're seeing it really come into play is this, exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You can see how much time it saved me creating these campaigns, right? Pulling the lists, building the account lists, uploading them into different places, ensuring the
Yeah.
lists are accurate because it's so good at looking through vast amount of data.
Mm-hmm.
That is so valuable for companies that are running outbound. So you've got an outbound process going already, eliminating admin for your reps, stopping them from doing stuff they shouldn't be doing and taking their daily selling time to the max it can be. And then, same goes for if you're not running an outbound campaign. So you can get one live like we're doing right now very quickly. Whereas before, if you're a founder, it can take days, weeks, even months to get going if you're new and don't know how to run things. So Claude's been a game changer for the outbound space.
Yeah, it really has. I think the best use cases, like I've said with our clients, has been when they have niche, complex TAMs that are better to run ABM style campaigns on, that you need a lot of qualification, a lot of breaking things down, a lot of specific requirements.
Yeah.
That's where we're seeing it really, really come into its own, and building out custom scrapers, custom bits of code, custom sequences to do all of this, and then upload it into our clients' GitHubs so that they're able to run this moving forward.
Yeah.
So it's been cool. I'll take a pause here. We'll wait for this to cook, and then we'll see what it looks like.
For sure. Cool. So it's run through. It's uploaded to our CRM, which is super cool. Found the list, added them all. And let me just show you quickly what that looks like, just so you can see. Let me just bring this up. Here we go. Add to you. Cool. So you can see the list. Uploaded all the leads, job title, name, email, description, LinkedIn. You can add a bunch of other columns. And then now you have this list. I can go back to Claude and say, I want to find phone numbers because my SDRs want to call them. Go in and add these phone numbers. As you can see, it's got a few already. And then what you can do is go ahead and dial and call the leads exactly from inside the CRM, which is super cool. Now, last thing, Tom, I know you want to round this up. I'm just going to show you guys how to connect up Prospio to Claude, because I think that'll be useful to show you. MCPs get connected via connectors. That's what we were using for Prospio to find the emails for this setup.
Yeah.
Just remind you, CLIs are from repos that you upload into the text correctly, into the chat bar directly. So let me just go here and show you how we can get this set up. So you go to customize, then you want to go to connectors, and you can see we've got a bunch connected up here, loads of different tools. You can see I've got Prospio down here. So to connect up a new one, you just come up here to add and browse connectors, or add a custom connector. And then basically it just asks for an API key or walks through its own setup process. But
so the browse connectors are the ones that are like already built out with Claude. So it's like an official connection.
Yeah.
And then the add custom ones is where you just add in the custom MCP server.
Yeah.
So again,
see, Prospio is a custom one here.
Yeah.
So Prospio has its own setup process. If you were adding them, it would walk it through.
Yeah.
But this is how you get those set up.
It's so simple. You literally just upload the link, and then you do a bit of authorization, and then bing bang bosh.
Yeah, and then you just go into your chat. So it could be in chat, it could be in Claude, and you say, am I connected up? And it'll ask you what you want to do. Want to verify emails, want to find phone numbers. Claude's amazing, man.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, look, Louis, I really appreciate your time here.
For sure.
This has been super detailed. Just to sort of summarize, we literally started with nothing, and we went to building out the offer doc, to building out custom copy, to building out custom lead lists, to then doing further qualification onto it, connecting it up into instantly getting a campaign ready and live, uploading it into the CRM so the reps can go and call it. And this is like a very basic example of the use cases with Claude Code and go to market and the RevOps sort of revolution that we're going through right now. Like I said, our best client use cases is where it is very complex, and we can then build out very custom complex solutions. So if you are curious about working with us, it will be the first link in the bio. You can go ahead and book in a call with myself. We can have a chat about what you're looking to achieve, and to see if us coming in to help you build out that sales stack, to build out those tools, to leverage Claude as part of your operations, and then build it all in-house for your business is something that you're interested in, and it's something that makes sense. We can figure that out and go from there. But Louis, thank you very much for your time. And I'll probably see you in Slack in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been really cool being able to build this out. Yeah, I've enjoyed doing it from scratch, which has been super fun. So yeah, appreciate it.
Love it, man.